God, if you help me make 50K a year, I'm good. What's the point of life? Why am I actually here? The only difference between them and myself is that they had the knowledge and I didn't. I thought that if I wanted to make more money, I needed to get another degree. I needed to get a second job in my field.
Yeah.
And there was no options. And I'm a guy, I like reading one book 100 times versus, yeah, because it gotta get to my subconscious. Most people don't know what their purpose is. Every manufacturer created a product for a specific reason. There's absolutely no product in this world that was not created for a very specific purpose. And the reason why most people start and stop and start and stop and start and stop different things is because they never really got to knowing who they are and if this is in alignment with their natural being and their calling as to why they're here on this earth.
Welcome back to the Millionaire Essentials podcast, where we give you guys all the essentials it is to become a millionaire. You know I'm one of your hosts, Brandon the Provider.
Yes, sir, and it's Tevin Facey, man, and we got a special guest for you guys.
We got a father,
A real estate investor,
an author, a soon-to-be author,
a philanthropist,
an entrepreneur,
a business coach,
a spiritual leader.
man.
My guy, Keston Glasgow. What's going on, man?
Thank you guys so much for having me, bro.
Of course,
Appreciate that. Man, I just absolutely love what y'all are doing, even with the space, the guests that you guys have on, so I'm privileged to be here. Thank you.
I appreciate you for coming out here. A former New Yorker.
ATLian, Atlantean, whatever they want to call it, man.
Listen, everything started here in New York, so I could never give up my New York roots, although I live in Atlanta now. Shout out to my Atlanteans. But New York is where it started.
Well, it didn't start in New York. Where are you from?
So
originally,
it really started in Trinidad. I'm from the islands of Trinidad and Tobago, and my parents and we migrated here in 2002. 2002, my parents, they wanted the American dream. They wanted more opportunities for us. It's me and my two sisters. I'm the middle child. And so we came over here. My father paved the way. And when we got here, bro, I just wanted to try to help my parents because we were immigrants. Nobody had their social, right? And so when we got here, I started helping by cleaning the church. My father, he was a contractor, so he was doing some construction on the side.
That's most of us Caribbeans.
Exactly, right? You move from the islands, you come over here, you do construction. And so, but I started cleaning the church. And so I was that kid who would go to the church super late on a Saturday evening to clean it up, making sure that it's prepped and ready for Sunday morning.
Right, man, that's a lot of work.
Dude, and it's a huge church. And God forbid that there's a baby shower or one of those birthday parties.
1, 2 a.m. at night. It's like,
bro,
Jesus.
I'm telling you. So breaking down the tables, mopping the floors, making sure the pews and everything is straightened out.
He said the pews, guys, not the pews. The pews, all right?
The pews are like the old school chairs. That's the old school chairs.
The old school wooden benches, basically, that's laid out.
Exactly, not those fancy things they got in church now.
Now they got the cushions.
Exactly.
They make sure you get comfortable.
Leather chairs, cushions, they got a bunch in churches now.
Everything, man. And so when I moved on from that, I started doing construction with my dad. I had some cousins that lived here who's also electricians. So I did some side gigs with them. And even having those jobs, I still started even working for Golden Crust. Golden Crust was a Caribbean
you was
restaurant.
Just Caribbean all around, bro. You just stayed right back in the Caribbean, basically.
I was just trying to make money, man.
Nah, you're right.
I just wanted to make money because I wanted to be able to wear what the kids in school was wearing, right? Because when I came here, I started in
college?
Junior. I started as a junior in high school.
A junior in high school.
Started as a junior in high school.
Yeah, that's the time you want to look fresh.
I needed to look fresh.
And you in New York.
Exactly.
So you have to.
So I was trying to keep up with the Joneses, and so I just did all types of jobs, moved on from that, and started college. And at that point in time, I was DJing. So I had my hands in a lot of things.
Yeah, you took the Caribbean route for sure.
Before actually getting to corporate. And when I got to corporate, I realized that I'm not sure about you guys, but I was that kid who used to say, God, if you help me make $50K a year, I'm good. Like I don't want anything else, right? And so when I got to that $50K, I was like, how about $75K a year?
So pushing it a little
exactly.
bit.
It's like, well, God, 50, that was cool.
50, yeah, it was good for the moment.
Exactly.
It was good for the moment, but we
And
gotta
I
go
just
up.
kept doing that. I got
Right.
to, and that was 100K. Like, why not go for
Why
100K?
not? Exactly.
Right? That was the number that most people want, 100K. And so when I got there, that's when I realized, and at this point, when I started making 100K, I was a cybersecurity engineer at a law firm in Manhattan. And I was on the 34th floor. I was able to look over the Brooklyn Bridge, and most people would say life was nice. Right? They would say like,
Most people.
you've made it. You
made it
to the top.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All your friends start looking at you a certain way now, like, oh, he got
Exactly.
money. Whenever they see you, oh, what's up, money man? What's going on?
And at that point in time, I was driving a BMW 535,
Oh, yeah,
fixed it
You
up to
were-
look like a M5. So life was good. I was traveling as a DJ.
Yeah.
I had a great corporate job. And for most people, bro, like life, I've gotten to the
You've
top.
eclipsed.
Exactly.
Until you get to the family and all that stuff, but you've eclipsed.
Exactly. And at that point, I had my son, I was married. And so things was good. But there was just this void deep down inside that made me feel like there has to be more to life. Because when you have everything, quote unquote, at least what those society tells you to have,
Right.
when you get that and you realize that there has to be something more,
Yeah.
that's when I started really diving into why am I actually here? Like what's the point of life? Why am I actually here? And I remember clearly, bro, looking out over the Brooklyn Bridge, out of my office and thinking, people own those buildings. Somebody built those bridges.
Right.
There's this innate thing in me to want more, but I didn't know how. And I thought that the only difference between them and myself is that they had the knowledge and I didn't. And I really started to ponder on that, not knowing where to go. Because I thought that if I wanted to make more money, I needed to get another degree. I needed to get a second job in my field.
Yeah.
And I there was no options.
Right.
But that real estate was the thing that was speaking to me, the buildings that I kept seeing every single day, right? And that's what really got me into wanting to start doing real estate. That got me into thinking, I'm like, listen, man, how do I own those buildings? And so my wife and I in 2020, we started our journey. We paid for our first mentorship program, and we was
Hold on. Hold on a second.
Yeah, because
you
he's
saying
about
a lot.
He's
You
about to go
saying
down a whole rabbit hole.
I don't want to gloss over from what I know of you because we want to deep dive a little bit into that.
Cool.
Because there's a lot of things you told me, and I want people to realize it don't just go I'm just going to do this and just execute.
100%.
You had to do a whole mindset shift.
100%.
Because the Keston I know today, he was just telling me he's working on purchasing a 96 unit apartment building in Atlanta. Yeah. That's the Keston today. Yeah. So from that 9-to-5 mindset and wanting more and currently being married at that time, how did it start from now processing to the Keston today? What happened in between?
Yeah. Whew.
How did you get out of that?
That was the thing. Like, I didn't realize from the time that I wanted to do better in my life that every time you start and you start to learn and you're like, man, I want to make a change in my life, that you would end up going back to who you used to be.
That's all you know.
Because that's all you know. Yeah. Because I didn't understand the learning curve. You know when people say, trust the process. Like, what the hell is the process?
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Like, I don't know if you've ever been frustrated thinking about what that process is. And I started studying and really diving into mindset and those different things to understand what the process was.
Process is, yeah.
And the process starts off with literally you set the intention to want to change your life and nothing changes because it's only an intention. You get motivated to want to do something, but nothing happens.
Yeah.
And here's what I learned. Your assets will never outgrow your mindset. It's just never gonna happen.
Right.
And so once you keep the same mindset, you are not gonna change anything.
Right.
And so I knew that my starting point was really shifting my mindset.
Yeah.
And so I started really digging into wanting to shift my mindset and shift the things that I was learning and who I was learning from. Like my parents did amazing based on what they knew, but then I knew that I needed to go beyond where they were because they didn't have what I wanted.
And I think as kids that come from the Caribbean, right? You know, I'm from the Caribbean myself, and just having our parents, you know, it's not that they're limited in what they think or what they're thinking to do and what they're thinking to tell us, but in a sense, it just takes more time. Yeah, we're limited in what we're thinking. So, well, they're limited in what they're thinking. So now it's like, you know, how are they to guide us further past what we want to be?
Exactly.
Right? So we want a 100K job because possibly that's what they had at the time. But now it's like, look, 100K in this economy is nothing. So I think a better question is, right, how did you even get to that point of the mindset, right? Because I know you're saying that mindset is what we need to even get to that point, but how do you get to that point of having the mindset?
So it really comes down to your environment. It really comes down to your environment. And I think what most people struggle with is separating from their family. Separating, and when I say separating, I mean separating what they have taught you. And I like to call this the habits and behaviors, your paradigms, right? Yeah. So when you separate from the paradigms that they taught you, now you're able to go further, right? Because your mindset will never outgrow your preset.
Right.
And your preset are these groups of habits and behaviors that has been passed down from one generation to the next. Just like, I'm sure have you ever had a time where you're doing something and you're like, man, I did that just like my dad.
Yeah, no,
right?
it pops up.
These are these subconscious thoughts and behaviors that you just do. You have no idea that you're doing. And so a situation happened where my mother-in-law, she was diagnosed with leukemia. And she lived in Atlanta, Georgia. I didn't leave New York because I wanted to. I left New York because I felt like God gave me clear instructions to do that. And it was one of the hardest decisions that I've ever made in my life because my parents at that time, they lived upstairs. I bought a house and I put them upstairs, right? My son, he lived like one traffic light away from me. So it was less than a 5-minute drive. And
so not to cut you off, so you had separated from your first wife at that time.
I did.
Yeah.
I did. I got remarried.
Okay. I didn't want to skip over that.
That's a fact.
Because
I did.
the reason why I don't want to skip over that, people think like when you get in certain positions, like in the position you're in, it was easy or it wasn't no turmoil in between. You went through a lot of turmoil you had to get over.
I did.
And separate from.
I did. And man, there's so much to my life. If I were to go into all of that, like
we'd be here for a whole nother week.
I'm telling you. But this is the turmoil. This is like, because when she was diagnosed, earlier that year, we had made the decision to get into real estate. And so...
And this is you and your current wife?
This is with me and my current wife.
Okay.
And so when we got started, God said, hey, leave New York, go to Atlanta, go take care of your wife's mom. Yeah. When I said that to my wife, she was like, no way. Like, we're not leaving David. We're not leaving, your parents. He's like, we can't do that. And there was such a clear sign to me as to why we needed to go, that there was no turning back. And so we left Atlanta, left New York, one of the hardest things I've ever done in my life, and got to Atlanta, and she passed away 3 months after. She passed away 3 months after. And this was the time we were just starting our wholesale business, and we kind of just pushed through and got it. And so in the business, we ended up doing 1.5 times my 6-figure salary in 6 months when we got started, which was really cool. But to Brandon's point, the turmoil just kept happening because my wife, she got pregnant, but we ended up losing the baby.
Wow.
And so more things happened where it was almost as if the enemy was just trying to pull you back and be like, exactly, you can't do this. I'm gonna pull you right back to who you used to be and that lifestyle, right? And if that wasn't enough, 7 months after my wife's mom passed, my mom was diagnosed with lung cancer.
Oh, and your mom was living here in New
My
York?
mom was living here in New York.
Oh, man.
And so we started going back and forth, being caretakers for my mom, even when the real estate company was starting to thrive.
Right.
Because in 2021, we went from 1 to 21 doors using other people's money. And that came like, boom, right there. And so here's what I tell people all the time when these things happen. And this is what made me come up with this. Do you have insurance?
Yeah. Life insurance?
Life insurance? What type of insurance you got?
Health, life,
Yeah,
car
I have
insurance.
health, life.
Health, life, car insurance. Isn't it funny that we don't have mine insurance? And so all of these things happening made me come up with this concept of having mine insurance, because when all these things happen, what's going to protect you?
Mentally?
Mentally.
Nothing, really.
See, but I have something. I started putting things in place to start protecting me, and I started calling it my mind insurance. And my mind insurance is made up of routines, communities, and coaches. When you have certain routines that you do every single day, regardless of what happened, you're able to bounce back. I'll give you an example. I work out 7 days a week. Not because I want to have an amazing body. It's all because of my mind. And so when it is that my wife's mom passed, the first thing I wanted to give up was working out. I was like, man, I'm too stressed to work out, right? And that's the first thing most people give up as soon as they hit some type of bump in the road. Right. They're like, man, I'm gonna eat like crap. I'm gonna, not work out. And I don't know if it was the Holy Spirit or what that was talking to me and was like, dude, you've been working out for moments like this. Continue to work out. Right. And I remember that workout that day where I was working out in my basement because it was COVID. So we had to work out in my basement, and tears, crying, not wanting to work out at all. But mentally, I knew that how I felt after working out.
Right.
And so I'm like, if I could get that feeling after working out, that's what I'm working for.
Yeah.
And I pushed through in tears, working out. And when I was done, I felt like I had enough strength to even be there for my wife. Mentally, I had regained control of my mind. And what I think most people don't have for themselves is a strategy, a workout, some type of routine to help them regain control of their mind every single day.
And that right there, I think, is just a testament of perseverance, right? Mm-hmm. Because, especially in entrepreneurship, right, we go through it all. If you're an entrepreneur, yep. Right? Because sometimes people, they want to be entrepreneurs, but they become business owners.
Exactly.
But I think entrepreneurship it just involves a lot of perseverance, and it's needed, right? So even having that mind insurance is necessary in entrepreneurship because we have to push every single day.
Have to.
And I think that consistency, right? If you're saying that I was working out for 7 days, that consistency in what we do in entrepreneurship is definitely needed, because if we don't have consistency, then at some point we're gonna lose in our income. So once our income is gone, our mind insurance is gone for sure. I tell you that.
But it's the one thing that you can't lapse on.
Exactly.
If you lapse on your mind insurance, then when a situation comes, you're gonna fold. You're gonna get caught off guard.
Yeah.
And so what are you doing every single day to have that insurance so that when something happens, you're covered?
Right.
Right? And so for me, I have a few things that I do where working out is definitely one of them. Meditation, prayer, studying, all of those things help me in different ways. So studying and reading or learning something new, that came in because there was a point in time where I realized that I was just lacking motivation. I had absolutely no motivation. I'm like, man, I'm brute forcing and I'm working, but I wasn't motivated to do the thing. Right. And then I realized that I used to be motivated when I was on the train from home to work, because that's when I used to listen to podcasts. That's when I read, because once I'm moving, I'm not doing any of that. Right, but now that I'm full-time entrepreneurship, I stopped listening to podcasts because I wasn't traveling to go anywhere. And when I realized that, I'm like, let me start back listening to podcasts. Let me start back reading. Boom. Motivation kicked in. And this is for me. I'm not saying that this is for everyone else. It's not for everybody.
Yep.
When you learn and you see something that other people did, I'm like, I could do that. And so now I'm motivated, I'm fueled, and I'm ready to go. So I put this in and I read every single day. And prior to a couple of years ago, and my wife and I, we've been married for 5 years.
Yeah.
So prior to her, I probably read like 4 or 5 books in my life on purpose.
How many since?
You got a whole library now.
Yeah, man, a bunch. And I'm a guy, I like reading one book 100 times.
Yeah,
versus,
really get it.
Yeah, because it got to get to my subconscious.
And that's very powerful. What you just broke down is very, very powerful. And I want to ask because, and I may quote it wrong, I remember something you told me a while ago was you like to challenge yourself. And you just broke that down. Challenge yourself in areas, conquer it, and achieve greatness and move on to the next thing and challenge yourself again. Like I've seen you get into real estate. You're talking about getting a 96 unit building. You was wholesaling. You're doing great. I see you started selling digital products, started helping other people. So what you're doing right now, you've helped a lot of people. Yeah. You've helped a lot of people, thousands, with exactly that mindset. How do you approach helping somebody that's at that point where, I can't persevere, I can't get to that next step? How do you transform their mind and get them to that level of where you're at right now?
So I would say it always starts from their desire, right? Understanding what the vision for their life is. I like using the GPS as an analogy. And I always talk about the 4 facts for freedom formula. And everyone in their life, I could solve your problems using these 4 facts for freedom. And we use the GPS as an analogy. And so the first part of that is connection. Every GPS needs a connection, right? Connection to T-Mobile, Verizon, Wi-Fi, or something.
Some type of service provider.
It needs some type of service provider. And we as humans, we need a connection to our creator. Right. And without that, we don't have service.
Yeah.
We're just kind of walking around empty. And the second thing every GPS needs is a current location.
Right.
The GPS needs to know and understand exactly where you are. And when the GPS knows where you are, I say for us, you got to answer these 3 questions. If anyone want to change their life, you got to be able to answer these 3 questions. Who am I? Why am I here? What can I do? If you could answer those 3 questions, your life is up and running. I don't care where you are in life right now. Who am I? That's a question of identity. That's you understanding yourself, right? There's a lot of assessments that can help you try to understand who you are. Right. Why am I here? This is a question of purpose. Every single person has a purpose on this earth, but most people don't know what their purpose is. Just like every manufacturer created a product for a specific reason. There's absolutely no product in this world that was not created for a very specific purpose. And there is 500 million sperms that's running to get in the egg.
Yeah.
We won, bro.
So we win is out the gate then.
Oh, out the gate.
Out the gate, we win
Out the gate.
Out the gate. So we're not 1 in a million. We're 1 in 500 million.
That's true. That's very true.
See that
See what I mean?
how he just broke that down, and it's all about thought process. Once you start thinking you're a winner out the gate, that totally shifts your mind.
Yes,
just
it
that
does.
simple, Jim. You just said.
Just that simple. It can change your whole outlook in life.
Every single day you wake up thinking this and you're like, I've already won. I've already won. But now you got to think, well, why did God allow me to win?
I was about to follow up with that. And you see?
Why?
Yeah.
And that should be your life's mission, to know and understand exactly why.
Right.
Because if you were a seed, and because God said be fruitful and multiply, and to be a fruit, that means you got a seed inside of you.
Of course.
And most people think that when he talks about being fruitful, it means to go and make babies and all that type of stuff. And to some degree, there's some partiality in that.
Right.
But when you're fruitful and multiply, it's the gift that's inside of you.
Yeah.
That you're able to now share with the world.
Yeah.
Right? And so when you discover who you are, you're now able to give a lot of fruit.
Yep.
Some people, they may be oranges on the inside, but they're giving the fruit of a banana. Picture that. How can an orange tree give you bananas? It's not real. Because most people see what they see on Instagram, on social media, on TikTok, and they just follow somebody else versus being who they are authentically.
Right.
They haven't found out yet.
Well, they haven't even tried to look. This is a question that most people do not even try to figure out for themselves.
Yeah.
Why am I here?
Yeah, that's the truth.
And when you figure out why you're here, you're liberated. There's a level of confidence that comes that nothing stops you. And so you asked, hey, somebody that feels stuck or in that position, I want to start right here. I want to know if you know who you are and if you understand why you're here. Because if you understand why you're here, because here's the thing, when most people in their 30s, 50s, 60s, I help people discover their purpose, right? When they discover their purpose, they're typically not doing the thing that they were born to do because they're in a job. So they don't have the necessary skill sets to do the thing that they were born to do. And so now they gotta, which is the third question in this category, what can I do? And most people never go on to pursuing their purpose simply because the learning curve of learning a new skill.
The challenge.
It's a challenge.
Yeah.
People scared of challenge.
They're scared of challenges, but it's because they don't understand what the process is. And so most people feel like, well, if this is my purpose, it's supposed to be easy.
Yep. Yeah, that's very important. That's very important because, and this is something I always say, I think the hard work has to be done.
Oh.
It has to.
It has to.
Because I feel like I mean, it's the social media era, right? This instant gratification. If we keep going back to that, we're never going to be able to succeed as people.
Never.
Because we can't find exactly what we want to do.
Never. Yeah.
So with that being said, what hard work did you do to get from 1 to 21 doors in real estate?
It's daily. It's daily. Simply get up. You find like I said, in your mind insurance, you need your coaches and you need your community.
Right.
I got my coaches, I got my community, and I built my routine. Guys, getting 21 doors is not hard. It's not hard. You got to believe that you could do it, 1. And 2, you need the action to do. And so I could tell everybody the formula to go out and go get 21 doors
right.
in a quick period of time. But
Well,
most people
do it.
First of all, they gonna be like, that was good for you. For me, it's not gonna happen for me, right? They're gonna say, I got kids, this happened, my grandma is sick, somebody got COVID. They're gonna have
excuses. Yeah.
so many different reasons. Yeah. And like I said, my mother-in-law died, my baby died.
Right, your mother got.
My mother got, what excuse you got? You got no excuse.
Yeah.
You just gotta do it.
Yeah, keep persevering.
Exactly. Because, and understand that having these sudden storms is a part of the process.
Exactly.
And I think one thing you said, coaches and community. A lot of times, just in my experience, a lot of people try to do it by themselves. I'm the only one. If you stay stuck in your own head, you're gonna stay there.
Bro.
You're not gonna get out.
Bro.
We're not in this world alone. There's somebody and there's people out there like you. Don't think you're the only one. Find that community, find that coach.
Yep.
And if you need a push, if you need an extra hand, find that person or those people that's gonna help you get there. Don't try and do it by yourself.
Bro, so imagine this, right? You're driving from New York to Florida.
Right.
And
24 hours.
24 hours. And you're like, you know what? I'm gonna go by myself. That's gonna be a hell of a drive.
Yeah. I've done it.
Right?
I've done it.
And I'm sure it sucked.
It did.
And it sure
A lot
sucked.
of music. You thought on that road trip, remember that road trip we took? And you thought I was playing J. Cole for an hour, 2 hours?
We took a 3-hour road trip. This dude.
Damn near the whole road trip? That was me. I played J. Cole that whole trip.
But here's the thing. You could go by yourself and that trip could suck for you.
It does.
Right? Not saying it's impossible, but it's a lot harder to do alone.
A lot.
Here's the difference when you do it with people. Now you got company. Now other people could drive, right? So you don't have to drive the entire time. But here's one of the bigger things. Now you could go in the HOV lane.
Get there faster.
Now you could get there so much faster.
Oh, yeah. I
You
like
couldn't do that alone.
I like that.
You couldn't do that alone. So the amount of benefits you have from being in community and partnering with people is on another level. Not only from having other people drive, but now you're in an express lane that could get you there. You don't have to sit in traffic.
Right.
You doing this alone, you're gonna sit in traffic.
We splitting tolls and gas.
Exactly.
That was cheaper in the pockets.
Exactly. So community, you need community. Definitely
yes.
community. You need like partnerships.
Coaches.
And we've been told, if you want it done right, you gotta do it yourself.
Yeah.
Right? These are things that's buried in our subconscious.
Paradigms.
Mm-hmm.
These are the paradigms.
So, important you said, coaches and community. We're in the social media era. Everybody's a coach. Mm-hmm. Everybody's an online instructor. Everybody's a guru.
Yeah.
Nowadays, how do we go about finding a great coach that connects with us, that somebody credible, that this is the person I want to coach me. This is the person that's going to get me to where I need to be.
Yeah.
Or even a great partnership. Because a coach can become a partner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
so here's the first thing. My first question is, who's your coach?
me?
That's the first question I'm gonna ask a coach.
Gotcha.
I want to know who your coach is. Because if you want me to coach you and you're not being coached by somebody else, you can't lead me. You're a hypocrite. Why would I hire you and you haven't hired somebody else? Because you always, you pattern who you are. So if somebody does not have a coach, they don't have the right to coach me. That's the first thing.
Y'all hear that?
It's the first thing. Just ask them. That's the first thing. Do you have a coach? Who's your coach? I want to know your coach. Right? So that's number one. The second thing is, I want to see receipts. What have you done?
Right. No, that's very true.
What have you done? And not just from a you tell me
Right.
standpoint.
I need to physically see some type of
Could
receipts.
I Google your properties?
Could I search them? Can I skip
You want to see
trace
some
them?
stripes?
I want to see it. Bro, it's not real if you don't have the HUD.
You're right.
If you're not on if I can't Google it and pull it up, then why am I hiring you, bro? It doesn't make sense.
Pull out them HUD ones.
I need to see it. I need to see it,
But
bro.
outside of real estate, how can we see, like, what do you think we can find in a person that could be more, I guess, more protection for us?
Well, he told me, not to be cut you off, he told me something the other day. You got a mentor, you're getting mentored by. He hit me, he said, yo, he showed me the stripe. He showed me what they bringing in.
Yeah, I'm in. Show it to me.
He told me that the other day.
I've showed, we hit our first million in 2022. I can help you do that. Here's my tax returns. Right? These are not things that I'm hiding.
Right.
Your mentor shouldn't hide them either.
A lot of people ain't gonna like that.
I'm just saying.
A lot of people ain't gonna like that, Kes.
You gotta show
But
it.
it's the truth. The truth people don't like. I mean, that's the issue.
People lie, numbers don't. They don't. You know what I mean? When I used to sell products on Amazon, my first few reviews was from people that I knew.
Right.
Right? So some reviews I don't even trust.
Know the game.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
I would pay somebody to go buy my product to leave me a review. I'll slide them the money back. So I appreciate seeing reviews, but people lie, numbers don't.
Right. Right.
That's it. You can show me those things, I can hire you.
Yeah, you're right.
Show me the results, man.
I like that.
Yeah, bro. When you're hiring mentors nowadays, like, I want to know I want to understand your routines. Because if I want to be like you, and what I would say is also find somebody that is in alignment with your values.
Yeah.
That's really big. Finding a mentor that's in alignment with your values and who you are, because there are mentors out. Not to say that you need to get everything from one mentor, right? Because there are mentors that I learned from that are not amazing husbands,
right?
And I've kind of put aside mentors just because of that. I'm like, bro, I can't learn from you if you're not treating your wife a certain way, right?
Because you're an amazing husband.
Because that's important to me. That's important to me. So you can't, I can't learn from someone like that.
How do you know?
How do I know?
We're all married and we all talk about, stuff like that. In my opinion.
That's probably, after God, that's the most important thing for me, my marriage.
Right.
Making sure that that's good, and my kids and work, and those are things that's just necessary.
Yeah.
And if someone doesn't have these things in place, you could make $1 million or millions, but you're not going to be happy.
Gotcha.
You're not going to be happy.
So you said something earlier, like a lot earlier, where you were like, you know, you went from that 1 to 21 doors, but you said you used other people's money, right? So, you know, me and Brandon, we talk a lot about credit, business funding,
Leverage.
just overall in general, right? What leverage did you use in order, because you said you used other people's money, what leverage did you use, and how did you get to that point of using that leverage in order for you to scale from 1 to 21 doors and maybe even beyond that?
Yeah. So when I got started in real estate, I had over 100,000 in debt, bad debt,
Right.
and I knew I wanted to buy real estate, but
And
I didn't
that's
have.
truthful right there. Thank you for that, because a lot of people won't say that.
Oh yeah, that's straight up, you know, and I knew I wanted to do this, but I didn't know how, and so I needed to learn the skill of raising private capital, and the first 15 people told me no, and I lost my first contract. I was happy that I got somebody to say yes, and I got the contract, but then I lost the contract because I didn't have the money to buy the property.
Right.
Right, but it was still a win because I've been trying to get somebody to sell me a property creatively for so long that I rejoiced that they said yes, and but I didn't have the money, so I lost the contract. So now I'm like, all right, bet. I learned the skill of sales, and if you're a corporate employee and you're looking at this, or like, sales is one of the necessary skills you need. Right?
In entrepreneurship.
In
just in
entrepreneurship, period.
Period.
And so I learned the skill of sales, and I was like, okay, great, I'm getting this. Now I got to learn the skill of raising private capital. And so I started learning how to raise private capital. The first 15 people told me no, even family and friends told me no. And then this one guy, bro, and all you need is one. All you need is one person. He said yes, and I still got his money to this day. It's 2024. I got his money for 2 years. No, 3 years, because that was in 2021. He said yes, and he said this to me. He's like, Kes, I'm not lending you this money because I know this deal. I'm lending you this money
Because of you.
because it's you. And when he said that to me, I'm like, holy crap. It's not even about the deal. It's about if somebody actually trusts me.
Yeah.
And what that started to do now, I started to show a lot more of my family. I started to show a lot more of who I was. And once people started to see who I was as a person on social media, raising money became easy. Because they feel like they know me, they could trust me, they see my values. And so every time I got a contract after that, I never lost a deal after. And so I used other people's money to be able to buy those deals. And then I also used you guys, but that was for business stuff. You guys got me a couple of $100,000 in funding, and that was for business stuff.
Right.
Yes, sir.
That was a different phase of my life when it was like, all right, real estate is cool.
Conquered that.
Exactly.
Conquered that.
We got a little over $10 million in real estate. That's doing its thing. So now let's do the entrepreneurship in a different way, the digital products. And to be honest, I'm still figuring that out.
Right.
Yeah.
God's been good. We've served a lot of people. We've had 6-figure days and things like that. And so God's been good, but we haven't mastered and gotten to this place of just like, it's easy. You just turn it on. And so I feel like I'm still in my learning curve in the digital space.
And I think that's still amazing, because the fact that, one, you said, you're still learning, right? A lot of gurus, they say, yeah, I'm it. I'm that person. I've gotten to that place, and they feel like they don't need to learn anymore. I think that's where a lot of those people go wrong. And then secondly, you said trust, right? Even leverage just in general involves a lot of trust. Right, but even also our credit score, right? Our credit reports, it shows trust in what we've done previously.
Yeah.
So, trust is always a big thing, and the person that invested into you, they just trusted you.
Exactly.
And that's what you that's what you have to do in order for you to get to those 2 doors or even 3 if you're using other people's money.
100%. I'm just that guy that's going to tell you the truth. I'm going to show you the behind the scenes. I'm going to tell you where I am. But I know that it's going to work because my results is just an indicator of what's going on subconsciously. And so I got to know, like, okay, what skill do I need to learn
Right.
to get to where the results that I need? I don't take it personal anymore.
Right.
I'm like, okay, this result is an indicator. So if I'm not getting the result that I want, I assess and I'm like, all right, Kes, you've been trying this for a bit. There's some knowledge that you don't have. I go out, I get that knowledge, and then I start doing better.
Yep.
So I want to ask you, right? So a lot of us, I go back and forth with myself about this piece of advice.
Mm-hmm.
Like a lot of us, when I was finding out who I am, what I wanted to do, a lot of us go through conflict we go through the fire in order to see the light.
Mm-hmm.
So for example, when I jumped out there and started doing what I wanted to do, my father had passed, I got in a car accident. That's when I fully jumped out and said, you know what? I'm jumping out here. I'm doing what I want to do. I know who I am. This is where I need to be. Now, I tell a lot of people, create a plan first before they just jump out here and start doing X, Y, Z.
Yeah.
What would you say to that? Once they find out their path, should they just jump and go for it or slow down, create a strategy and say, all right, this is how I'm going to approach it?
So remember before I was talking about the 4 facts for freedom formula?
Yes.
And we got to current location.
Yes.
Once you understand who you are, the next place in your GPS, you got to put in that address. That's your destination.
Yes.
And for us, what that looks like is creating a vision and then goals. I like to consider goals to be the staircase to that door, which is the vision. And when you have those things mapped out and organized, because you know who you are, so now your vision is based off of who you are and your purpose, not just some wild number that you want to get. Then you go after it. But to have goals as the staircase, I definitely think that there needs to be that strategy. Otherwise, you're going to be on your journey. Let's go back to Florida again. You lose reception. You don't have connection. And so you're going the wrong way. Let's say you're going the wrong way for like 20 minutes.
And you don't even know.
Exactly. By the time you got service back, your service connects and you're like, crap, I got to reroute you and you got to go back the other way. Now you just wasted time. Now you just wasted gas. Now you just wasted resources. And most people quit because they've spent so much time doing the wrong thing. They think that something is wrong with the thing.
Not them.
And not their decisions. And not, I can't say it's them,
But
they don't understand them.
you're right. You're right.
Right? Like, so if people really want to follow through, to me, it starts with purpose. It starts with understanding you.
Yeah.
Because when you start, it's, you don't want to quit. You don't want to stop. And the reason why most people start and stop and start and stop and start and stop different things is because they never really got to knowing who they are and if this is an alignment with their natural being and their calling as to why they're here on this earth.
Wow. So
Yeah, that's heavy.
With that being said, what is the next steps for Keston?
Oof. So the next steps for Keston right now, I'm building out the Peloton of personal development.
The Peloton.
What is that? Hold on. You gotta break that down. What does that mean?
The Peloton.
The Peloton.
I'm building out the Peloton.
like the bike? The company?
Like the bike.
The bike.
So think about Peloton, right?
And you know what's crazy? I have been seeing you post more lately. Peloton. You ride it.
I do.
Purposeful. See,
Purpose.
it just hits
That's
you,
on
right?
purpose.
Purposeful. Go ahead.
So
He
Let's
been
say
posting it heavy lately too. My fault. I just thought about it.
So let's say you got a Peloton, you get on your bike or your treadmill, you tap the screen, you select your profile, and then you pick your favorite coach, right? You pick your favorite coach,
I see where you're
and
going.
you go into their class, and they lead you in your fitness journey on the bike or on the treadmill. What I'm building is exactly that, where someone could come in, pick their coach, who they connect with the most, because we're gonna have sessions that you're gonna pick your time, you come in, you find somebody you connect with, and whether it's in fitness, whether it's in mindset, personal development, family stuff, you could pick who you want, and you connect with that coach, and you go in.
Wow. That's incredible.
That's smart.
That's innovating. That's what that is.
That boy said the Peloton.
You got to.
That's innovating.
You got to. And so our platform, we're going to have coaches. We're going to have a lot of coaches.
Yeah.
And I'm the marketing engine for it, where people are able to know and understand if they want to transform their life in different ways, and from family, fitness, purpose, mindset. That's the future. That's the major future right there.
I can't wait to see it.
It's already in action and already happening. So I got a gift for some of your members who's looking at this podcast.
And who subscribed and liked and comment.
You got to do all of that before you get this. We're going to verify, right? But if anyone follows me on Instagram at Keston Purpose and DM me the word Millionaires,
I like that.
they get a free invitation to come in and test out our community, to be a part of this initiative that we've already started.
That's
Gotcha.
amazing.
So they got to follow you, Kes on Purpose,
Kes
on
on
Instagram,
Purpose.
and DM you Millionaires.
Millionaires.
Be the first to jump in the Peloton of mindset.
Mindset is the personal
Peloton
development.
of mindset,
Yep.
personal development.
Peloton of personal development.
Okay, there we
Gotcha.
go. Peloton of personal development. You heard it first.
PPD.
You heard it
PPD
first
right
here.
There you go.
Now that's amazing, man. Yeah, we can't wait to see it. I can't wait to see it.
It's incredible. There's so much to be worked on. This is going to be phased out over the next 3 years.
So it's about a 3-year project to build out.
For sure.
Okay.
It's amazing.
And what is the ultimate goal of this?
My ultimate goal
Yes.
is to be as big as Tony Robbins. That's my ultimate goal in the personal development space. Because of all of the changes and things that I had to go through in my transformations, I feel like I know that I have so much to give when it comes to I have this passion for relationships because of who I used to be as a man. And I call it scumbag, from going from scumbag to being an incredible husband, right? Like that's a transformation that took me a lot to go through. That's an entire
All of us.
couple
all
of
us.
podcasts, right? Exactly. And so
That's accountability right there.
that level of transformation, I think, is for a man who is addicted to pornography, who's addicted to masturbation, all those things. Those are things that I had to overcome myself.
Right.
And I just love helping men with that transformation.
Right.
And another transformation is going from being a 9-to-5 corporate employee to becoming a real estate investor and entrepreneur.
Yeah.
That transformation is great when you go to a meetup, you go to a conference, and you're motivated, but in a week, you're deflated,
Yeah.
right? Like all of these different things, like how do you continue to keep your consistency throughout? And so those are the things I like to help people with in keeping their transformation, keeping them moving, giving them that accountability. I'm just really passionate about finishing the race and transformation. So that's what the community is all about.
And that's what's needed. If you want to be great as a business owner, entrepreneur, you need that community, you need those coaches.
Yeah. Let me say this last thing, man, because most people would say, well, I'm going to do that later.
Yeah.
Famous line.
Right.
The famous line.
I'm going to do that later. I don't need that right now. I'm going to do that later. Let me tell you guys this. Michael Jordan had several coaches. He had several coaches. Most of the coaches who's the coach on Phil Jackson? Was the coach that most people know Michael Jordan to have, because that was his game coach. But then he had a high performance coach behind the scenes that also helped him push his limits to get him ready to be coached in that by Phil Jackson.
Coachable by Phil
Exactly.
Jackson. You have to be coachable.
Exactly. Then he had a nutrition coach. You see what I mean? He had different coaches for different aspects of his life.
Right.
Some people jump into a mentorship or a program, let's say real estate, and they want their real estate coach to give them everything. It doesn't work like that. You need coaches for different aspects of your life to help you move at a high performance and have Michael Jordan type results.
Right.
Michael Jackson results too.
Exactly.
Both
Exactly.
names.
Right. And so these are lessons, success leaves clues. And so these are clues that I've gained, which is why I got like 5 coaches.
Oh man.
I got like 5 coaches. I got a business coach. I got a marriage and business coach. So not only business, but
Marriage
somebody,
and
because I
business.
do business with my wife. So I need somebody to help bring us back together. Right. I got fitness coaches. I got financial coaches. Like, you need coaches for all of these different aspects of your life.
You can't be great in every single thing.
Exactly.
That's what the coach is there for.
Where's your mindset insurance? If you need that mindset coach, man, I'm telling you, like, this has been one of the most needed things that people don't know they need.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right? And after helping thousands of people win at this game of real estate, win at business and entrepreneurship, just by being able to help shift their mindset on specific things, I'm going all in.
That's amazing.
That's what it is, going all in.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Man, we had an amazing episode, man. We had an amazing episode. Definitely. I think mind insurance is definitely something that we all need to take accountability for, right? Because we need it. We need it just in general. Entrepreneurs, even if you're not an entrepreneur, I think we just need it in general. If you're a 9-to-5 worker, if you're a corporate worker, you need that. You need that mind insurance. So, Keston, thank you, man. Thank you. And where can they find you at?
Kes on Purpose on Instagram, on all platforms, really.
Okay,
Kes on
perfect,
Purpose,
perfect.
YouTube, whatever. But if you want me to respond, Instagram is where it is. That's what I'm going to see first. So Kes on Purpose on Instagram, KES on Purpose on Instagram.
Listen, y'all gonna have to play this episode back. He dropped so many gems that's gonna help you guys elevate and succeed. Y'all gonna have to play this episode back, like, subscribe, and share this out. This is Brandon the Provider, Millionaire
sir.
Essentials.
Yes,
we got
sir.
Kes on Purpose, Keston Glasgow.
Yes, sir.
My
And
partner.
It's Tevin Facey, man. Thank you guys for watching. It's been another great episode with our guy Keston, man. Y'all better make sure y'all like, comment, and subscribe. Make sure you go to his Instagram page and comment Millionaires so you can be in the PPD, right? The Peloton of personal development.
Let's go.
Talk
It's the
to y'all
Millionaire
soon.
Essentials Podcast. We see y'all soon.
Peace, y'all.
Peace.
We just crushed another great episode of the Millionaire Essentials Podcast. We had my guy, Keston Glasgow, on the podcast. He told you guys about mindset insurance. Listen, break down some of the mindset insurance you gave him.
Listen, guys, so for you to have mindset insurance, you need these 3 things. You need to have a good community, because when you have a community, when you want to give up on yourself, because it's going to happen, your community helps you to keep going. The next thing you need is a coach. A coach is going to give you turn-by-turn instructions to be able to help you get to your destination. The next thing you need is morning routines. You need routines for you to be able to do things automatically without you having to think about it. When you have these routines in place, you're not going to quit on yourself. You're going to continue to go through and push through the turmoil and the things that come up in your life.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's perfect. And look, he also broke down his PPD method, which you guys have to get in on. That's the Peloton of personal development. Listen, y'all, make sure you go to Kes on Purpose on Instagram and comment or DM Millionaires, and you'll be able to get a free trial on the PPD, y'all. This is Tevin, I got Keston, and Brandon. We out.